Hello, my name's Colette Meehan. I've been living in Pocatière since 34 years now, 35 years. And I'm going to be making Irish pancakes. They are made of flour, 3 eggs, some butter, milk and lemon. And that's it, as simple as that. This is a recipe I found in a French book called Je craque pour toi mon coco. And it may seem strange that I had to find a French book for a recipe from my childhood. And all it is 3 eggs, a little bit of salt, 1 cup of farine tout usage. Here we go.
Flour.
All-purpose flour. A cup and a half of milk and 3 cups, 3 cuillère à soup, excuse me. 3 cuillère à soup is like, no, the soup spoons
right.
of butter. See, this is where the French has become fluent, and as I'm not, normally we don't speak when we're reading recipes and talking while we cook, so these little flounderings go on. And that's it. You mix them all together and you let it sit in the fridge for a while so that it plumps up. And I'm going to warm up the pan to get it at a constant heat. And normally, unfortunately, the first pancake never works out.
Classic.
Classic. So I've already prepared this batter. I mixed it up into with the milk and eggs first. Added in the flour. A bit of sugar helps to get it a bit more bubbly. Dollop in some butter. This will get messy, but that's normal. I'm going to let that sizzle away there. The way I got the recipe is interesting because I had left Ireland to go think. Ireland is small, it kind of crowds in on you. And so I needed to go away and find out who I was and have a think about life because I didn't have a direction. I had no direction, and so I had to go off and think. And thinking is a whole other art, by the way. I wasn't really good at thinking. I was just good at ruminating questions that had no answers, or they were trapped in a way. So I was away from Ireland a long time, and traveling about 5 years as a street artist. And when I came back and moved here to Quebec and realized, like, Pancake Tuesday, we made pancakes on once a year just before Lent. And in other countries it translates as Fat Tuesday or Mardi Gras in Louisiana. But we made pancakes. This is salted butter. I like salted butter. I don't like unsalted butter. I like that tinge of salt on them. So let's see if this is going to work out. Maybe not hot yet. Doing this recipe brings back memories of how unimpatient I was. I was like, because usually just one pan was being used and you were making them for the whole family, and that took time.
How big was the family?
We were 4 kids, 3 sisters of mine and my parents, and it was unbearable waiting for it, and then you ate them so quickly. So let's see if this is going to work. It could be hotter, but as I said, we sacrificed the first one. I didn't have a recipe. By the time I used to try it, but I didn't have it. And that's the thing, when you leave your country, you cut a lot of ties from little normal things. I didn't know how to roast a chicken, properly like my mum did. That was a terrible thing. But the way I found this book was, my daughter, when she was in primary school, adorable child, she wanted to do an exchange with a student, and I permitted it. So she went off, had a great time with the kid, came back, and the kid had to stay with me for a week. And my daughter snuck up to me and she says, "I don't like her." And I said, but you have to take care of her, you know, like we're the host for this weekend, or I can't remember how long, but 2 minutes is too long when your kid won't get on board. And so she just slunk back into the shadows and did nothing, and I had to be the entertainer and make the weekend interesting for her. But I said to my daughter, I do believe you, but you have to help me here. She didn't help me. So the mother of this lovely child, I'm sure she was lovely, just things just don't work out. She gave my daughter this book. And I said to my daughter, that's my book. And I allowed her to keep it till while she was in the house. And then when she left home, I said, this is my book. This is the best book, the best recipe. It was the recipe that resonated with all the experiences in Ireland. And so anyway is the best way, right? I got my recipe. I'm looking for this speckled look on the pancake, and I think the butter helps that. My aunt married a Dutchman, and while I was very faithful, we were all very faithful to our sugar and lemon and butter pancakes, they made this excellent one of sliced apple. You make a thicker one, and you sink in some slices of apple, and I think you stick it in the oven afterwards. Then you put cream on it. That was a good one. Yeah. So usually then we adopted that tradition of leaving the last bit of the batter for that apple pancake. They were so good. And the good thing about all this batter is that you can use them for savory ones. There's butter, a bit of salt, and sugar in case if you need just a little tiny bit of sugar. They can be used for asparagus and cheese sauce and ham and I tell you, that's got to be careful sometimes. But this is still not done. It's still yellow underneath. There's no speckling, as we say, or browning, and it could go up higher maybe. This was an evening meal. This was the only time we ate pancakes in the whole year. Can you imagine that? And Canadians eat them so regularly. So Pancake Tuesday was the day before Lent. It was the time, or it was Tuesday, Wednesday was Ash Wednesday. So I was raised as a Catholic. And I guess my memories of Pancake Tuesday come from being 8 or 9 years old. You know, so 7 you make your Holy Communion, you're married to God, and but pancakes. So we had to go through this 40-day ritual of giving up something that we loved to, I guess, accompany Jesus in the desert. Which is really weird because I would love to walk in the desert for 40 days just thinking and meandering around. But as a kid, it was an important initiation into discipline, self-discipline. And pancakes, I mean, like, that was such a lovely lure into doing the sacrifice. And I guess you didn't eat as much sugar after Pancake Tuesday. It was a way to empty the larder of the rich food in the house. And I must say that as Irish people in that era, we didn't have a lot of fancy food, but it was symbolic of that ritual. Mm. And so after Tuesday, the next day you went to church to get the ashes on your forehead, and then you went to school, and then you didn't smoke cigarettes. Or in our case, we didn't eat sweets. I was vegetarian for a while. And that way you totally disconnect with how you cook meat, and you're cooking lentils, and I had to stop being a vegetarian. During pregnancies, I would just dream of meat. So I needed it. And but then I had to call my mum and say, how do you roast a chicken? I had no idea how to roast a chicken, and all I could remember the odors and the stuffing and the deliciousness of it. And yeah, so it made me think of like how many people had to leave Ireland or people immigrate and they don't have those recipes with them, or the ingredients are different in each country. You don't have access to the same feel of food. Like when I was vegetarian, I was also cooking with whole wheat flour. You cannot make an Irish pancake with whole wheat flour. And so that had to go. The whole wheat flour had to go. You don't get that with American ones. You don't get that with, a more bready one. That is nice. That is what I'm looking for. Those little speckled stains, and I think they are the best looking pancakes. I am very fortunate to have come from an artistic family, and it's a curse as well because you have something to live up to. My parents, my mother is a water. She was a businesswoman, but she was also very technically good at painting, watercolors. And my father was a jeweler. Worked with he was fortunate that he in the 70s he kind of like reinvented the jewelry, the Irish jewelry, copper bracelets, of course, enameling, and silverwork, and yes, the bronzes for representing the Celtic art. And I've taken on the enameling, which was, I guess I like small is beautiful. When I moved into this house, that I started concentrating on developing that process of where you get in the mindset of the art, and you feel such a fake when you start. You think you're just a wannabe. And I had to make sure that I wasn't going in a wrong direction. What if I was something else, but I just thought I was supposed to be an artist? But there was something burning, urging me on. And so it's a very important part of my life. If I'm not creating, I'm avoiding it. And that is, you can't avoid it for too long, because then you have to ease yourself back in. So I make enamel jewelry, and I work with the heat, and I work in the small kiln, and I can watch the progress as I go along. So it's very satisfactory. It's way better than cooking in a kitchen. I've worked in bakeries. I've worked in a bakery. I've worked in kitchens. But I like when you have to master something. Even cutting vegetables, you have to cut them right. Make croissant, you have to master something. So I'm all about that, mastering, being in the moment, and letting educating yourself to move your hands in the right way, and work with things. I can't believe that I waited so there's that. That is a nice one. So the first one didn't actually stick or do the horrible, embarrassing things we don't want to happen.
That's fabulous first pancake.
So I'm going to slide it off there. I'm going to lower this down slightly so it doesn't burn. Get the butter on. The sinful butter. Do not put margarine on these, please. Now that's a bit too much. the sugar. White sugar.
This is why this was once a year.
Well, yes.
Oh, yes.
And the lemon. And then you roll it. And that would keep the humidity in, because that would go into the oven, and there were gas ovens at the time, and that is it. Then we start again. We were very young. We were very too structured into religion at that time. It was too much. That's why I went traveling later on to find myself. But I am very much interested in introspection. And so I do take something from this time of the Lent, the period of Lent. Often in winter times I'll just make myself a little retreat where I keep away from people for even 3 days, just to get into thinking about one question that's on my mind. And then I feast. I let it go. After I've given myself all the thought, I know that I can't go any further with it. I have to wait for some answers to just come from another source. And sometimes, when the moon is just about to be full, I go there's something in the energy before it's full that is like, it bugs me, it annoys me. And that's when I would go on these thinking holidays, retreats. And then afterwards I would just relax. I would just feast. I would have, I wouldn't drink wine or anything during that. So there is a holding back, that period, that moment of holding back so that you can be clear. And so I can relate it to Pancake Tuesday, it's the feast. And there's times when you have to have more lean times, or you do have to deal with issues that are niggling at you. And I remember we had to have a team of people, and I guess it was ease the impatience, where you'd have somebody putting the butter on, somebody putting the sugar and the lemon, so you had to get this action right, kept you occupied. As I said, we didn't have, like fancy foods in the house. Halloween, you had fancy foods for that day. So it was very much kind of like a religious practice. And I do like, those methods of helping you get to a place where you just cut out the, as they say, temptations. Because today we can eat like it's Christmas every day. We have just so many fancy ingredients coming from all over the world. And it's nice to be basic, get to basics and isolate yourself a bit. So I would, Pancake Tuesday came before Lent, which is weird for me. So any time is a time, like when I felt like, suppose I've been painting. Painting takes a lot out of me. Mentally, it's like there's a conversation going on that is just, I'm exhausted afterwards. I'll usually have a feast of some kind to applaud myself. And but I like those things that make you go into a deeper area of yourself and try to grow. Even a little bit, a tiny little bit is huge. Usually when I'm doing them alone now, I will just have the pot of tea on already. And this will be gone. And that's the pleasure. There'll be music playing, some, listening to music on some nostalgia. You're in a zone here. You're in this area, and I don't need to go to the table to eat them.